Season of the Wish. What do I think is going to happen? What are my predictions? Considering that at the end of this season, a heavy focus was put on the Ahamkara egg, and that wishes need an Ahamkara to begin with, I think it's safe to say that Season of the Wish will be centered around the Ahamkara as a whole. And I say that plural, meaning potentially more than one dragon. This is something that we need to talk about. This is the fourth season. The fourth season is always connected to the expansion that's coming up. So think about Arrivals, Lost, Seraph. All of their stories were very much connected to the upcoming expansion. They weren't just standalone stories. As a result of that, our end goal is clear. Figure out how to get inside the Traveler, and if the Ahamkara are the key to that door, we need to figure out how to use it. That specific aspect, that specific question of how, will be what takes up most of the season. You're going to go in day one, you're going to have your epic cutscene, your cool first mission, and then you're going to get hit with the, "Oh, come back in 7 days because Ikora needs to translate Ahamkara's speech to communicate with the baby dragon," or, "Oh, come back in 7 days because Mara has gone off again somewhere and she'll be back when she feels like it." But it is what it is. Now, I did mention the possibility of there being multiple dragons, so allow me to explain that. There's the egg with the baby that could hatch. It's probably going to hatch. But there's also Riven. I personally think it was Riven speaking in that trailer. But for those of you asking, well, we killed Riven, right? So why would it be her? In the Last Wish raid, you don't just kill Riven, you actually help purify her heart of taken corruption. And I quote, "It's for the sake of plans to come." And yeah, because of how Ahamkara work, she is still alive, and she even talks to you after her heart is purified. She says that we are inseparable now and that she cannot wait to show us what she asked for. So yeah, for the sake of plans to come, it kind of has to be now, right? And this wish that she asked for, in my opinion, was always the 15th wish that was alluded to. And as for who she is, or she was, I believe that that was Savathun. But what did she ask for? In my opinion, it's probably involving getting inside the Traveler somehow. And this actually would make sense for her to make this type of a wish back in Forsaken, because her plan since Vanilla Destiny 2 was always to find a way to break the link between the Hive and their worms. By the time of Forsaken, she might have felt the light was a valid option, and before considering the whole idea of dying and being resurrected, maybe she felt that she needed to take the light. Maybe there was still a little bit of that sword logic inside of her. This is all speculation, of course, but those are my thoughts on what this wish is and who made it. But going back to the Ahamkara side of things, my point is that Riven is absolutely a valid character to appear in this season, and I'll honestly be disappointed and a bit annoyed if she's treated as just another dead raid boss, a character who's dead and forgotten. Now for the drama. If Riven is tied to the wish that the season is centered around, and this 15th wish is the one made by Savathun, then Riven technically won't be helping us, she'll be helping Savathun, and that would place a lot of power in her hands, and it would act as an insane bargaining chip. That being said, I think even Savathun knows that times are truly desperate right now, and so if we did find ourselves in this position, she would cooperate, although I'm sure she would have some kind of, I guess, incentive. If it's our wish, I think Riven would still help us, because of that age-old bond I mentioned. I also think there's a chance she wouldn't be bitter about us killing her, because she was taken after all, and we did free her from that. If she has any sore feelings, they should be directed towards Mara, and that very well could happen. But overall, I do believe Riven will help us if she's involved this season, but there's gonna be hoops for us to jump through. You know it, I know it, we all know it. They gotta pad out the season somehow. And yeah, but before I forget, we did also destroy all of her eggs. So yeah, sorry Riven, my bad. If the main Ahamkara this season is the baby, then it's a little bit different. We did technically kill its mother, and in general we might be seen as an enemy since the Guardians did slaughter the dragons to extinction back in the day. However, Guardians, especially with their light, are the exact type of people these dragons want to work with, so I do think that the baby Ahamkara, grudges or no, will still help us. Of course, like last time, there will be hoops to jump through. But let's be real for a second. We know how this ends. We are going to go inside of the Traveler. The final shape, whenever it's going to happen, is going to happen. And so we do use the beast somehow, regardless of which one it is and who's making the wish. It is going to happen. The question is just going to be how. And that is going to be the focus of the season. Also, since the destination of the season is the Dreaming City, can we please finish the curse? Riven is purified. Savathun is on our side now. All the pieces are in place for this to happen. We're near the end of Destiny's story. This is the time to wrap the Dreaming City stuff up, and I think that it will happen this season. I will be shocked if we end this season without at least the curse ending story-wise, and I don't really care if the gameplay side of things stay, if the 3-week cycle remains, but just from a story standpoint, knowing that the curse is done will make me very happy. There's the dungeon. That's a thing, yeah. Looking back at previous dungeons, I do think it will be relevant for the story. Think of Duality or even Seraph, or whatever the thing's called. That being said, it cannot be vital to it. You need to remember, the dungeon is connected to the season, but it doesn't come with it. There will be people who buy this season and they do all the story missions, but they don't play the dungeon. In my opinion, Bungie cannot lock a core story mission behind a dungeon that those people would have to pay extra for. So yeah, I think it will be relevant to the story, but I don't think it will be anything more than that. For example, I can see it being more relevant to getting rid of the curse than us getting into the Traveler. Now for things I'd like to see, but I'm not too fussed about. I'd like to see more interactions between Crow and Mara. I love seeing these two interact, and I do want Crow to accept her as a sister. That's just me. I know people kind of are divided on that, but I preferred Aldrin 100%. So I am a little bit biased. I wouldn't mind seeing Zur-Ido coming back. She is actually supposed to come back. She did say it's like a part of a prophecy for the end times. I don't know how that would work. Maybe there's some magic involved. Maybe she becomes a guardian. Who knows? I don't really care. It'd be cool to see just more loose ends wrapped up. Hey, Bungie, can we have some Aphelion lore? At this point, they're in the same category as the Zorpalods. But the Zorpalods have a more in-depth story, and they even have named characters like Zargwe. The Aphelions don't have a Zargwe. I'm just saying. But yeah, I think that's what next season will cover. Pretty basic, pretty generic, but it is what it is. I could be wrong, but it is just a prediction after all. But what do you think? What do you think will happen? Are you excited for the season? Let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, finding it either entertaining or informative, and if I hit the wombo combo, maybe both. I am pushing as hard as I can for 2,000 subscribers, so if you're still here and you feel like it's worth it, consider joining us or liking the video, or send it to some other bingus who you think would like it. You probably already know somebody. But yeah, I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care, my friends. Bye bye.